In a swift reaction, the People's Democratic Party says the judgment of the Federal High Court will not stop the preparations for the forthcoming National Convention. In a statement on Thursday, PDP spokesperson Debo Ologunagba described the ruling as an assault on Nigeria's democratic process. Now let's dive straight into this conversation as we bring in a News Central correspondent who has or was at the hearing today, Joshua Imarayi. Also joining is a former PDP Deputy Publicity Secretary, Diran Odeyemi. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining. First off, let's start with you, Josh. Josh, you were at the proceedings. You've been tracking the story from the courts to the party secretariat. A lot of viewers just want to know and understand the heart of the matter. What exactly did the court flag as the biggest breach in the PDP's process?
To you, Mazino, the biggest issue highlighted by the court is procedure. Procedure is the bone of contention here. Well, the court said that the PDP failed to organize legal congresses, and when I mean congresses, legal congresses for observers and delegates for the National Convention. Of course, you know, when a party wants to hold this National Convention, congresses are being held from the world level down to the state level and to the zonal level before it can accumulate into the National Convention where they send representatives. What the court is saying that the PDP failed to follow those due process. And another thing the court raised was that most of the notices for this Congress that was held, the notices only carried the signature of the chairman of the PDP, excluding the signature of the secretary of the party. These were the issues that the court highlighted, saying that this is a procedural issue, and it shows that the PDP would go beyond the ambit of the law to hold these congresses if not addressed. Mazino.
About process being the biggest issue here that the court underlined, but now the injunction comes at a time when the PDP is trying to prove that it can put its house in order before 2027. So this all looks like as if we've seen this before. So from your conversations with people, insiders in the party, is it more about legal missteps like the court thinks, or does this underline deeper political divisions in the PDP?
I would tell you that it is both, because we all understand that PDP has had its fair share of intra-party conflict. Of course, you know that conflict is one of the characteristics that make us human. But notwithstanding, PDP is having quite a distraction, if I may say, particularly for the intra-party crisis that is actually bedeviling the party. Some say that the PDP, the leadership of the PDP, when I mean the leadership, I mean the acting national chairman, is trying to hold the party before 2027. That is why he had to go through the several means to achieve the congresses that now culminate into the National Convention. They are saying that what is happening is actually some sort of appears to be cracks within the wall in the party. Although we understand that procedural issue and legal issue play here, but we cannot put aside the fact that there are issues in the party that needs to be settled before things will be done right. Mazino.
I'll talk about what happens next. We've seen the court orders. We've also seen how the PDP is preparing for the 15th and 16th. But if the court says stop, then, well, what next for them? What are the PDP, what's their immediate option from here on? Is it appeal, is it compliance, or do they defy? How realistic is it that the convention will hold in November?
For the PDP, there are three options particularly now on the table. One is to appeal, the other is to pause, and the other is to do the right thing. And when I mean do the right thing, that means the planned National Convention will have to be postponed, adjusting the calendar of the party. And when the PDP is to appeal to this judgment, of course, you know it might take a little while, but the issues will be addressed. And the last option is pause. Well, distraction. Well, I can't really say. Only party players will have the major say here. But one thing is clear, the PDP needs to get its house in order, and the PDP needs to follow the ground lines of the Electoral Act and the guidelines of INEC to hold whatsoever is going to be holding as party congresses, National Convention, or what have you. Mazino.
Very much, Joshua Imarayi. Joshua, I'm going to let you go now. We have Nira Odeyemi who's joining us now. Let's talk to you, Nira. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. So the court has stopped your national convention, saying the PDP failed to hold valid state congresses and also didn't give proper notice. One has to wonder how such a basic procedural failure happens in a party that once prided itself on structure and experience, the biggest opposition. So how did we get here, Nira?
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate that we continue to find ourselves in the news on daily basis, and we have been in news for wrong reasons. Very, very unfortunate. Now, the latest one about the court stopping our Congress is so sad, because we believe that will give us the opportunity to elect the new members of a National Working Committee that will reposition the political party and make it look good for Nigerians, to have and vote for. But in the present circumstances, I've identified three areas of our problems. And the first is the ego of our leaders, the rascality of some of them, and the personal ambition, the personal ambition, which is selfish to me. Because I don't understand why simple process of a Congress will not be followed, that we now subject ourselves to court adjudication. Look at it this way. These people that went to court, they are members of the party. I think internal mechanism of resolving issues will have allowed the party to call them to a roundtable conference and let them withdraw their cases and, let us resolve whatever is the issue there. And what are the issues? Hold Congress and let everybody participate in this Congress. Not that you will now allow caretaker committee to come and vote, whereas you fail to conduct a proper Congress and election in the states. That's one of the issues. Another issue is bringing all the stakeholders together. The national chairman said he can identify 3 people that are disturbing the peace of the party. He couldn't name them. But my question now is, if you know the 3 of them, what is wrong as a leader, as the chairman, who want the progress of the party, to call everybody, even these 3 people? Since the cause of a sickness is known, I think the remedy should be very simple. You already identified these 3 people, call them together. Let us see how we can move the party forward. Let us see how we can resolve these issues internally, not going to court. Of course, the procedure is very wrong, and we have found ourselves in the wrong situation now.
All right, Mr. Odeyemi, I'm wondering who these 3 people are, and if, respectively, you're talking about them in terms of the characteristics of ego, rascality, and ambition. But let's talk about the convention now. The convention was supposed to be a fresh start for the PDP to elect new officers and reset the House for 2027. But now the court has stepped in. The court has said you can't do that. So what happens next? Are we looking at a postponement? Are we looking at rezoning? Rezoning is also a very, very delicate matter within the PDP. Or are we even looking at a total restart for the party?
As I'm talking to you right now, the statement that came out from the National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunagba, is that irrespective of the court judgment, the party will still go ahead with the convention. How that is going to happen, I don't know. But in my own opinion, what I think should happen is, tomorrow is not late. 24 hours is a long time in politics. Call all the stakeholders, call all these people that took the party to court. We can still resolve and give INEC the necessary 21 days and conduct election. We will postpone and, iron out whatever is the crisis. Not that the chairman will insist that they will go to appeal the judgment. By the time you take the judgment to appeal, how many days or how many months will that take? When you get the judgment, are you going to the Supreme Court? I don't believe in all this process.
All right, then.
What I think should happen is for the chairman and the leadership to call everybody together. We can still resolve it internally.
All right, Mr. Odeyemi, thank you very much. I hear you there. Postponement is still on the table here and resolution with the parties involved. Thank you very much, Mr. Odeyemi, and also thank you, Joshua Imarayi, for covering the story. Thank you, gentlemen.